In just 10 minutes, uncover 10 brutally honest takeaways from Diary of a CEO's Talk with sex expert Esther Perel on why men over 30 aren't having sex anymore, how apps feed loneliness, why ghosting wounds deeper, and what's really killing desire. Takeaway 1, men over 30 and no sex. Esther Perel says the sharpest drop in partnered sex happens to men after they pass 30. She explains that these men often live behind screens, so they miss the normal practice of small talk, flirting, and handling rejection. Many retreat to solo porn because porn asks for no social skill and gives instant reward. Over time, their bodies learn to respond only to their own touch, so real intimacy feels awkward and sometimes impossible. These men also work longer hours alone and have fewer close friends, which starves them of the confidence that grows in groups. Dating apps promise options but mostly deliver silence, so every unanswered swipe chips away at courage. Esther shares that more men in their 20s now seek therapy for erectile problems than men in their 60s, a complete reversal of the past. For example, one client spent 5 years on apps, swiped 2 million times, and still felt like a beginner the first time he tried to kiss someone. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 2, apps feed loneliness. Stephen Bartlett and Esther agree that dating apps were meant to widen our social circle, yet they now deepen isolation. Endless swiping keeps hope alive while delivering almost no real meetings, so users feel busy but stay alone. The illusion of choice makes every match look replaceable, so people invest less effort in each chat. When replies do not come fast, many users think they are the problem and retreat further. Esther warns that avoiding real-life rejection removes the training ground where empathy and resilience are learned. She urges viewers to treat the app like one tool, then spend equal time meeting people in cafes, hobby groups, or even in the grocery line. For example, she once spoke for 3 hours to 2 strangers on a plane because there was no Wi-Fi, and all 3 agreed the talk would never have happened if the internet had been working. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 3, ghosting wounds deeper. Esther calls ghosting a new social cruelty because it erases even the smallest sign of respect. In her words, people treat each other like trash because semi-anonymity removes basic courtesy. A silent exit leaves the rejected person with no story to hold, so their mind fills the gap with self-doubt. Over time, this repeated micro-hurt makes men and women suspicious of every message and less able to trust new partners. Stephen notes that many friends feel angrier at ghosting than at an open breakup because it feels like being erased. Esther says the fix is simple but rare. Send a short, honest note that says, "Thank you, I do not feel the match," and goodbye. For example, one woman in therapy stopped ghosting and began sending kind rejections. Within months, her own dating anxiety dropped because she no longer feared karmic payback. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 4, modern loneliness explained. Loneliness today is not about sitting alone in an empty house, says Esther. It is about being in a crowd yet feeling unseen. She uses the term social atrophy to show how unused social muscles grow weak, just like an unused arm in a cast. People scroll for 9 hours a day, then come home too tired to talk to neighbors or partners. They may have 1,000 online followers, yet no one they can call to fetch medicine when sick. Men are hit hardest because many have no tradition of emotional talk with friends. Esther reminds us that human life lengthens and hearts stay healthy when we belong to a small group that meets face-to-face. For example, studies of villages in Okinawa and Sardinia show elders live longer partly because they meet friends daily to share food and gossip. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 5, bored life kills desire. When couples say their sex life is dull, Esther replies that their shared life is dull. Desire feeds on novelty, surprise, and shared laughter, not on routine chores and screen time. Partners who never ask fresh questions or plan playful outings slowly turn into roommates. The body senses emotional flat lines and powers down arousal to match. Esther urges couples to inject energy by learning new skills together, telling jokes, or even changing the order of daily tasks. She quotes herself, "The sex is not less interesting. Their life with each other is less interesting." For example, one couple she coached joined a beginner salsa class. The awkward fun of learning steps reignited teasing and physical closeness that later moved naturally into the bedroom. We're halfway through the video. Thanks for sticking with us. If you're enjoying it, hit the thumbs up and share it in your WhatsApp groups. If you'd like to support us, please tap the thanks button below. It helps us keep making great content. Drop a comment and don't forget to hit subscribe for more. Now let's continue with the video. Takeaway 6, Reigniting Dead Intimacy. For couples who feel miles apart, Esther recommends a direct but gentle restart. Begin with a written note or calm talk that owns the distance without blaming. Say, "I miss us and I want to try again." Set aside 30 minutes of clean time with phones off and eyes on each other. Speak of memories when connection felt strong and list small acts that could bring that feeling back. Try a weekly novelty date where each partner surprises the other with a plan. Do not expect instant fireworks. Look for small sparks and feed them. Esther reminds viewers that desire is like the moon. It hides and returns if you watch the cycle. For example, a pair who scheduled 10 minutes of silent eye contact each night reported feeling shy at first, then giddy, then eager for touch by the end of the week. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 7, Living with Invisible Partners. Ambiguous loss is Esther's term for sharing a couch with someone who is mentally elsewhere. Phones, work emails, and streaming shows pull attention away, leaving the present partner unsure if they matter. This half-presence feels similar to living with someone who has dementia because the body is near but the emotional light is off. Over time, the ignored partner may stop trying to share news or affection, and resentment grows in silence. Esther suggests setting visual cues like placing devices in a box during meals to signal full attention. For example, one family created a nightly ritual called 3 True Things, where each person shares 3 moments from the day. The rule of undivided listening restored a sense of being seen. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 8, Masculinity in Transition. Traditional male roles once rested on duty and providing, but modern freedom has blurred those lines. Esther says many men feel they must be both strong breadwinners and tender listeners, yet receive little guidance on how to balance the two. When their partner earns more money or shows greater social confidence, some men feel useless rather than equal. This confusion can lead to withdrawal, anger, or overwork, none of which help intimacy. Esther holds group fishbowls where men speak openly about shame, fear, and longing, while women simply listen. The exercise often melts stereotypes on both sides. For example, after one retreat, a man told his wife he feared being irrelevant. Her hearing this without interruption shifted their dynamic overnight. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 9. When truth hurts love, confession is not always kindness, warns Esther. A partner who cheated years ago may want to relieve guilt, but dumping that guilt can crush the other person's sense of safety. Before speaking, ask who benefits from this truth and who pays the price. Responsibility means changing behavior, making amends through consistent care, and protecting the partner from unnecessary pain. Esther teaches that every relationship holds a shared story, and sudden revelations rewrite that story in ink that cannot be erased. For example, one client wrote a private letter admitting his affair, then placed it in a sealed envelope and chose not to deliver it. Instead, he invested daily energy in rebuilding trust, and over time, his guilt eased as the relationship grew stronger. Now let's move to the last takeaway. Takeaway 10, Connection is the Cure. In a culture obsessed with self-care, Esther reminds us that lasting joy comes from caring beyond ourselves. Giving attention, praise, or help to others releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and lifts personal mood more than another solo yoga class. She urges people to practice small acts of kindness each day because relationships thrive on tiny deposits of goodwill. Happiness research shows that people who volunteer or regularly share meals with friends report higher life satisfaction and live longer. Esther's core message is simple. The quality of your relationships will determine the quality of your life. For example, telling a stranger their outfit looks great can brighten their day and yours, proving that connection can start in seconds and ripple outward. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support this channel, hit the thanks button below. It really helps us keep going. If you enjoyed this summary, please leave a like and share it in your WhatsApp groups. To join discussion about this video, drop a comment below. And for more videos like this, hit the subscribe button below.